Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Big Pop, and today I'll be doing some battles in the Open Master League using a team of Lugia, Groudon, and Ho-Oh. Before we start the video, let me know what team you're currently using in PvP, and if you could, drop me a like, I'd really appreciate it, and it means the world to me. Anyway, without any further delay, let's hop into the battles and have some fun. Hopping straight into the first match, we have Ho-Oh against Metagross. This is the dream lead if I'm being honest. Incinerates absolutely melt that thing to the ground, so they make a quick switch into Yveltal. We don't really mind this matchup. I think we win the matchup in the 2-shield, so he's going to absorb that Dark Pulse and keep farming up until we get to the Sacred Fire. I'm praying on a debuff to their attack here, but unfortunately the debuff doesn't happen, but that's okay. We'll just keep incinerating down and do some damage. We're expecting another Dark Pulse, which we're just going to absolutely tank. I want to save shields for Lugia or Groudon, so we're just going to go for another Sacred Fire and perhaps get a shield. We get the shield and we get the debuff, which is amazing. I'm just going to keep incinerating down until they throw another Dark Pulse. This will take us out, which is okay. We can come in with Lugia and Dragon Tail all the way down. Normally, you wouldn't want to switch a Lugia into a Yveltal, but in this case, we have shield advantage and we can come out of this matchup with a nice energy lead. So we're going to keep Dragon Tailing away. Unfortunately, I make a quick switch into Metagross, but we have the perfect counter to that Metagross in our Groudon. There's pretty much nothing Metagross can do to our Groudon. Sure, the Meteor Mashes hurt, but we get to these Precious Blades and Fire Punches like nothing else. That Precious Blade absolutely annihilates the Metagross, so they come with Kyogre to farm down. We're in a good position here. We have loads of energy on Lugia. We're super tanky, and we will outpace him to any sort of Blizzard. We get the attack buff, which is amazing. In comes the Surf. We do have a shield, so we'll use that. They come with the Yveltal trying to catch a move, perhaps. Good game. Hopping into the next one, we have Lugia leading into a Zacian. So not the best lead. Obviously, if they're running player off close combat, we don't mind this, but I've been finding a lot of Zacians running Wild Charge. I don't know if it's the prevalence of Kyogre after the Hoenn, but there we go, there's the Wild Charge. So we tank that Wild Charge, then make a quick switch into Yveltal, so we're just going to full send the Aeroblast. Come on, Aeroblast. It lands, it absolutely annihilates the Yveltal, and we get the attack buff, so we're going to shield this up and farm all the way down, getting that sweet, sweet energy. Down goes Yveltal, we wait for what's going to come in next. Back comes in Zacian. Can we get to another Aeroblast? We full send the Aeroblast again, but this time we have an attack buff. Will it land? It doesn't land, but it gets an ever so important shield, and we'll just keep farming over the Dragon Tails. We're actually doing a decent amount of damage for what it is. So they Wild Charge again, now they're debuffed, and we just come in with Ho-Oh and start incinerating down. We know they have Wild Charge, but we just no shield it anyway. They're 4 times debuffed now. Our Incinerates are doing huge damage. I'm hoping to come out of this matchup with the energy, but they make a quick switch into Dialga, and we're going to full send the Sacred Fire. Come on, Sacred Fire. Will this land? It doesn't land, but it gets a shield. No attack debuff, but I feel pretty good to come in with Groudon and hopefully get to the Precious Blades before they get to the Draco Meteor. In comes Precious Blades. Does massive damage. In comes Zacian. We just need to get to a Fire Punch here. We throw the Fire Punch. This should be getting them into the low red, and we should be able to farm down. In comes Fire Punch. Yep, farm down with a Mud Shot. Nothing they throw KOs, I believe. Yep, in comes Close Combat. We tank that quite comfortably. Down goes Zacian. Good game. Hopping into the next one, we have Lugia into Dialga. So obviously this is a bit of a neutral matchup. Our Dragon Tails and Bulk do combat their Dragon Breaths, Iron Heads, and Draco Meteors. Although the Aeroblast is resisted, it does do huge damage. And what I've been finding is that Dialgas don't like to shield the Aeroblast. They don't respect it from Lugia. And it just does too much damage. More damage than it deserves. In comes the Aeroblast. Does huge damage, and now our Dragon Tails are really adding up. They're going to try and farm us all the way down, but that's a big mistake because Lugia is just too bulky, and we're able to come out of that matchup with even shield scenarios and a Sky Attack. We throw that Sky Attack into the Machamp, and they are countering away. We send in Ho-Oh. We do have to be a bit scared of the Rock Slide here. It will do serious damage to Ho-Oh being 4 times effective, but we're just going to go straight for the Sacred Fire and either take out that Machamp or grab the second shield. Grabs the second shield. No debuff, unfortunately. So we're going to make a quick switch into Groudon to catch the Rock Slide so Ho-Oh doesn't get annihilated. Does such little damage there. And we're just going to Mud Shot away, throw the Fire Punch, then make a quick switch into Togekiss. But we really don't mind this. Yep, in comes the Fire Punch. And now we just need to go on a rampage of Fire Punch. In comes Fire Punch number 2. I feel like I'm watching Makohita Icho, but with Fire Punches. Fire Punch number 2, doing huge damage to that Togekiss. In comes a third Fire Punch. So we're absolutely just spamming out these Fire Punches like no one's business. Togekiss is almost annihilated. We get to a 4th Fire Punch because I think they were trying to farm down. So this is a great matchup for me. Down goes Togekiss. We switch back into Ho-Oh to get to that Brave Bird before Machamp gets to another Rock Slide. And this Brave Bird should be sending Machamp to the Shadow Realm. Good game. Moving on into the next one, we have Lugia into Zacian. So obviously not the best matchup. I have been finding Wild Charge to be more prevalent lately over the Play Rough Close Combat moveset. So we're just going to have to stay in here, build up to the Aeroblast, and hope for the best. We've learned our lesson from last time. We do shield up. In comes the Wild Charge. One more Dragon Tail. They're going for the classic double Wild Charge and dip. So we're going to hold on to our energy, wait for the dip, and they come in with Ho-Oh. We don't really have a great switch for Ho-Oh, so we're going to send that Sky Attack, hopefully get a shield, hoping they think we're at the Aeroblast, but unfortunately they no-shield it, so we just throw the Aeroblast this time and hope they do the same thing. Unfortunately, they shield this time, and they're going to try and Incinerate. I think they're going to go for the Sacred Fire here. No need to debuff themselves with the Brave Bird. We had such little energy, we might as well let it go down, and we're just going to come in here and go for Repressive Blades. Although they are a flying type, it actually does do a nice amount of damage. So in comes the Precipice Blades. It's so OP. Groudon is an absolute... He was a monster before, and now he's an even bigger monster. What can I say? We're going to try and Mudshot down, switch into Ho-Oh, one more Incinerate, and the Ho-Oh is gone. In comes Zacian. This is a pretty good matchup normally, but unfortunately Wild Charge has been on the rise, I think because of more Kyogres in the ecosystem, let's say. So we're just going to build up to 1.5 Sacred Fires and just throw it into whatever they switched into. In comes Groudon, shiny at that. And this is a great matchup for Ho-Oh, especially with an energy lead. I know they can land that Precipice Blades just like we did earlier in the match, but we're on a roll. We're a runaway locomotive here. We're trying to get to the Brave Bird. Unfortunately, get to a Wild Charge, but Ho-Oh is quite tanky. We can take that. So we take the Wild Charge, absorb that, throw the Brave Bird, and this should be taking out the Zacian. Gets a shield, sorry, I didn't see they had a shield left. So we quickly switch into Groudon, throw off that Fire Punch to get a bit of damage off before they get to another charge move. Zacian with the Snarls, 2 OP, good game. Moving along here, we have Ho-Oh into Giratina. So obviously this isn't the best matchup. I would have, even though Lugia is a Psychic type, I would have rather had Lugia on the lead here, because our Dragon Tails will be doing some seriously threatening damage to the Giratina. But unfortunately, Incinerate doesn't really threaten that much, nor does the Sacred Fire, and it can easily tank that Brave Bird and farm down. So we have no choice but to throw, hopefully get the attack debuff, and then we'll see what we can do. They bait us with the Honor Swim, which is really unfortunate, but luckily they don't get any boosts. So we're going to go for the Brave Bird before we go down. In comes Brave Bird, gets a shield, so now we're at a bit of a shield advantage. There's really no point shielding here, but we do. So in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have. It's an Anonymous Wind, and we're going to get to the second Brave Bird, so maybe we can make a positive out of a negative. In comes the Brave Bird, gets the Giratina low, one more Incinerate. They do have a bit of damage here. It would be dangerous to come with Lugia because those Shadow Balls absolutely threaten. So we'll come with Groudon and absorb that Ominous Wind. Yep, we Mudshot down, which is really fortunate. They come with Togekiss, so here's a bit of a familiar matchup from earlier on. Let's see how many Fire Punches we can get off, eh? One Fire Punch is in, we're Mudshotting away. In comes the second Fire Punch. Obviously their Charm's digging in, and the Flamethrower will do some nice neutral damage. But by that time, we've probably got 3 Fire Punches off, and we've done some serious damage to that Togekiss. In comes the third Fire Punch, you know, battling away. 2 more Mudshots. This Ancient Power, I assume, will take us out. They go for the Flamethrower. I would have gone for the Ancient Power there and maybe gotten a boost. I think it was low enough to take us out. Anyway, back on track. We've got Lugia against the Zacian, hoping... well, there we go. I was hoping for not Wild Charge, but unfortunately they do. So pretty much every Zacian we've been running into has Wild Charge. So I'll definitely say be on the lookout for Wild Charge in your battles. We're able to hang on, get to the Aeroblast. You should be doing some serious damage. Takes out the Zacian. They come in with Togekiss. Unfortunately, we lose. Good game. Moving along here, we have Lugia into a Mewtwo. So we don't really mind this matchup. I am hoping they'll bait with the Side Strike, and I'm pretty much assuming they're carrying Shadow Ball. So we're just going to keep farming out the Dragon Tails and no shield to test the waters. In comes the Shadow Ball, so that's really unfortunate. But they make a pretty fortunate switch for us, switching into Dialga. So Groudon says, come here, baby, I got you. I got you for this Precipice Blades. We're going to no shield, let the Iron Head go through, because I'm pretty confident we can get to 2 Precipice Blades. In comes the first one, hoping it'll be no shielded. It gets shielded, but that's okay. We are getting Dragon Breath down, but we can hang on. We get to the second Precipice Blades. Will this land? Come on, Precipice Blades. It lands. Down goes Dialga into the Shadow Realm. In comes Mewtwo. They get 1 Psycho Cut. So he's coming with Lugia, and we're going to throw that Sky Attack. Come on, Lugia. In comes Sky Attack. Does a nice amount of damage. These Dragon Tails are really adding up. Mewtwo's defense stat is good, but it's not its best attribute. So we are doing some pretty good damage. They throw the Side Strike, which is really unfortunate that I shielded, because I should have hung on to the 2 shields, and maybe I would be in a better position. But I don't really mind saving a bit of health on Lugia, because that Kyogre is an absolute threat to my squad. They're waterfalling down. One of the key issues for this team is Kyogre, and the only reason I was able to climb what I did with this team, about 100-150 points, is because I wasn't running into Kyogre as often as I would have not hoped. Let's just say, if that makes sense. I don't know. In comes Surf. We save ourselves for the Kyogre. We try and farm down. Double KO. Good game. Hopping into the next one, we have Lugia into a Dialga. So I think this is a pretty neutral matchup. Our Dragon Tails are doing some really nice neutral damage. Their Dragon Breaths are doing neutral damage. Our charge moves are resisted, but that Aeroblast is absolutely unstoppable. I can't believe how good it is. Lugia's bulk combined with Aeroblast's absolute raw damage is something to behold. In comes Aeroblast. I'm hoping for a no shield here. Most Dialgas haven't been shielding. They shield, which is different, but that's okay. Maybe the shiny Dialgas are shielding, who knows. Back on track here. We're going to no shield here. Just let Lugia go down, and we have the perfect counter for Groudon. Dialga and Groudon. Anyway, they make a quick switch into Zacian. We're going to throw the Precipice Blades, hoping to do some serious damage here. It lands, does huge damage to that Zacian, absolutely devastates it, rocks it from the ground. We make a quick switch into Ho-Oh while they're still switch locked into their Zacian. The Incinerates are doing a nice amount of neutral damage. The player ups are resisted, so finally a Zacian that isn't running Wild Charge. Who would have thought? In comes the second player off. We're gonna preserve a bit of health on the Ho-Oh. I'm presuming they're going to come back with Dialga. We have a huge energy lead. I feel like we're running away with this game. In comes the first Sacred Fire. Gets the debuff. We're going to keep farming up. Just go for the Brave Bird before they get to any sort of charge move so we can save that shield for Groudon and for whatever's in the back. In comes that Brave Bird. They have a Togekiss. Good game. Skipping along here, we have Lugia into a Shadow Gyarados. So we don't see that too often. But I have seen Gyarados have a slight rise in the meta since Groudon and Kyogre have become so prevalent since the Hoenn tour. Anyway, we are threatened by the crunch, so we will shield that up. I'm glad we did, and we'll come in with the Sky Attack and hopefully do some nice damage. In comes Sky Attack, they shield that. We're just going to keep Dragon Tailing away. We're doing a nice amount of damage. They make a quick switch into Snorlax, so another Pokemon that I haven't really been seeing that often. And non-Shadow, oh, it is Shadow, yeah, never mind. Anyway, it's very tanky, it's quite the threat. It'll just be running Body Slam Superpower, I'm assuming. So this shouldn't do too bad of a damage. In comes Body Slam, does a nice amount of damage. Groudon should be able to handle it. We're going to go straight for the Precipice Blades. I'm thinking a lot of Snorlaxes don't shield because of their bulk. We're correct. Down goes Snorlax. What's going to come in next? It is the Gyarados. So this is like the worst matchup you could ever imagine. The Aqua Tails will devastate us, and our charge moves won't do anything to that thing. So we're just going to come back in with Lugia. It's at the 1-1 shield. I'm hoping this will get their last shield, and then maybe we're able to farm down. They actually make a quick switch into Metagross, which is super unfortunate. We do have the perfect counter in Ho-Oh, but as soon as the Metagross is gone, they have the perfect counter to our Ho-Oh, so let's see how this goes out. In comes the Earthquake, does a nice amount of non-effective damage. We're going to farm all the way down. We farm almost all the way down. Should we no shield? We do shield just to preserve a bit of health. Unfortunately, we have so much energy, but it's all just going to go out the window because Gyarados comes in, hits us with the Aqua Tail. All we have left is Lugia, and we can't farm down in time. Plus, they have a shield. So that'll be a good game to the opponent. Good job. In comes Aqua Tail. Good game. Hopping into the last battle, we have Ho-Oh into Melmetal. So this is a bit of a neutral matchup. Our Incinerates are doing really nice damage, but those Rock Slides are a major threat, doing 4 times effective damage. So we're going to keep incinerating down and throw up the shield. In comes the Rock Slide. We shield that so it does no damage, and we get to the first Sacred Fire. I'm really hoping for a debuff here. That would mean we could survive a few more Rock Slides. We don't get the debuff, which is really unfortunate. We do get a shield, so we can't complain. We're just going to let Ho-Oh go down. Well, actually, we do hold on. We get to the Brave Bird, so this will do whatever damage a Brave Bird does to a Melmetal. I'm assuming not very much. Gets the second shield, which is super fortunate. So now we're at a 1 to 0 shield advantage. We come on with Groudon, and we're not threatened by Melmetal at all. We can take whatever they throw. They throw the superpower. Now they're debuffed. Now we're even less threatened. They throw another superpower. We're in a great position to just farm all the way down and come out with loads of juicy energy. So in comes Dragonite. It's a pretty bad position for us, so we make a quick switch into Lugia, and they retaliate with Dialga. So we know what we need to do here. You guys already know. Say with me. Aeroblast time. We're going to shield up, fearing the Draco. It's just an Iron Head bait. We go for the Aeroblast. Here it comes. Here comes the bomb. Let's go, Lugia. Show us your guts. In comes Lugia. We actually get the attack buff as well. So we're Dragon Tailing down. We're in a great position here. We have energy. In comes Dragonite. They can't really take us out. It'll take like 2 Dragon Claws to take us out. So we're in a good position here. Our Sky Attack should be doing a nice amount of damage to that Dragonite. In comes Sky Attack. Does huge damage. Switch into Groudon. And with a bit of an unusual twist, we're going to Precipice Blades the Dragonite for the win. Good game. Thank you all so much for watching. I had a ton of fun running this team. Please leave a like and comment what team you're currently using in PvP, and until next time, have a good one.